Apologies if you're watching in vision. You just caught me with one earpiece in and a pint of water in my hand. It is water. And the reason I was doing that is because I was sitting here. I was so bored because Maddie Hale has walked into the studio. Australia's finest. And, you know, Maddie is a great journalist. And, you know, people
and a great looker. A great
looker, yes.
For those listening in the radio.
Indeed. And yeah, get looking now on YouTube, and you can see you can actually see Maddie. You might hear her normally, but you can see her. But if you scratch below the surface of Maddie, there's not a lot there, to be honest. I mean, it's very, very hard to kind of
Well, that's the thing, is that when you look at me, you think, oh, she must have a crap personality, or at least dumb. But the thing is...
Do you know what I think when I look at you? Visa crime. That's what I think. That's the first thing that comes into my head. Who did you pay?
Sharing a load, I've had to take a few of your sauce over my way.
Oh, there's a lot of us over there.
Yeah.
There's an awful lot of us over there.
Yeah, a lot of walking red flags.
Yes, definitely.
Anyway, I guess we'll move on from that.
Yes, Kamala Harris. She's given her first interview since entering the White House race, 39 days after she was announced as the Democratic candidate. She sat down alongside running mate Tim Walz for a 27-minute pre-recorded piece for the bastion of truth, CNN. Donald Trump has already dismissed it, saying it was boring. Oh, yeah. Critics also argue that the Vice President wasn't clear on what she will do if she wins the election. Maddie Hale is with us, Talk's international presenter.
That's me.
That is you.
That is she.
So what was this all about?
It was an interesting interview.
Actually, I just read something that wasn't quite true there. I don't think this is Adam's fault.
What did you fake?
Because it wasn't 39 days after she was announced as the candidate, was it? Because she was only announced as the candidate.
No, she was, well, probably
officially.
39 days since Joe Biden stepped down. Yeah.
Correct, yeah.
And she was officially...
I'm only saying that to get the chronology
of course.
correct.
And she's the official nominee the 19th of August when she accepted the Democrats' nomination for her.
And that big old shindig they had
now
over there.
She is the Democrat candidate.
But she hadn't sat down with anybody and given an interview about this.
Yes, exactly. So she had been criticised because she hadn't done any media, she didn't really do any doorstops, she didn't do any press conferences, she hadn't done any interviews since Biden handed the reins over to her. And this is something that the Biden administration are already have been in hot water for the past 3.5 years. Joe Biden sat the least amount of press conferences, I think, since Reagan. So she's just fallen into that step again. Yeah,
he just couldn't really do it, could he, Joe?
No.
I mean, it wasn't his thing.
But Kamala should, and she has now. But we could play this clip we have from CNN's interview.
Well, we can. But what the point I was going to make is that she's not previously been the greatest... She's not the greatest speaker, is she? I mean, no one would go, wow, she's good. It's like, you know... I don't know, Churchill standing up there. It's like, even Obama, who was a great speaker, she hasn't got it, has she, Maddie? Unless you're going to do that girl thing, girl power
No,
thing.
I'm not going to do the girl. First of all, yes, great, there's a girl on the screen, I will say. But no, I felt like this interview was a...
mistake.
Well, no, she should have done it, but just kind of a roundabout of answers. I never felt like you got, you know, a list of things that she would do or a list of their accomplishments. It was always hanging on to one thing, always hanging on to this one tax credit for families, so that in the first year of a child's life they can afford a car seat and a baby formula for that first year. And I felt like she kept coming back to that. The thing that was more confusing is she had to take Tim Walz with her VP, and he literally got 1 or 2 questions.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. Well, let's have a little listen and a look to how it panned out when Kamala Harris met CNN.
What would you do on day 1 in the White House?
Well, there are a number of things. I will tell you, first and foremost, one of my highest priorities is to do what we can to support and strengthen the middle class. When I look at the aspirations, the goals, the ambitions of the American people, I think that people are ready for a new way forward, in a way that generations of Americans have been fueled by hope and by optimism. I think, sadly, in the last decade, we have had in the former president someone who has really been pushing an agenda and in an environment that is about diminishing the character and the strength of who we are as Americans, really dividing our nation, and I think people are ready to turn the page on that.
So what would you do day one?
Day one, it's going to be about, one, implementing my plan for what I call an opportunity economy.
An opportunity economy?
So that was just...
I didn't realize he smoked quite like that.
That was not an answer to her question, obviously.
No, it wasn't, was it? Should I just keep doing this?
No,
Speaking
you're
in
making
that
me...
really weird way that
You're
she
making me
speaks?
feel quite ill, more so
Quite
than
bilious.
you already do.
Well, I've just sat and watched Kamala Harris. I feel
Yes.
quite ill as well. I don't know what's there. I don't look at that and go, wow, she's good. And surely her people want... I mean, two things to pick up on, Maddie. Her people would have wanted that to jump out the screen and people to go, she's good, she's sharp.
Yeah.
You didn't get that from that. The other thing... She seems to have forgotten she has literally been the government for the last 5 years.
Well, that's one of the things is that Dana Bash was asking about her, because she was saying, what would you do on day one? What would you do in the economy? What would you do on the border? And she has all these answers for it.
Sorry,
Or
the
she's...
reporter is called Dana Bash.
Yeah. And she goes...
I thought that was a porn star, isn't it?
And Dana Bash says, but why haven't you been doing this the last 3.5 years? What was interesting is that the border is the border and the economy are the two biggest criticisms the Republican Party have on Kamala Harris. She was named the border czar. There's just fact after fact about the border is that there is
millions of people
that have crossed the border. She claimed the numbers are now down. Yes, Kamala, they're down in the last about 6 weeks to 8 weeks. For the last 3.5 years, you've had crazy numbers coming under you. And then the other thing is the economy. She says that they've created jobs, wages have gone up, but obviously jobs have gone up because it's a post-pandemic. Wages, I think, have gone up. But look, I'll read out this new poll because the thing that I think still remains the #1 issue in every poll is the economy. And while Kamala is leading in this latest Reuters Ipsos poll, she's leading by 4 points over Donald Trump. She's still lacking on the economy. It's 45% would pick Trump over her on 36% when it comes to the economy. Wow. And that's quite a big contrast of less than 10 points when it comes to these big issues. It's something like 80% of people put the economy first and then 14% put migration, and then I think abortion's on like 12%. So it's still the #1 issue for Americans.
And he's leading on that.
And he's leading. But she's taken over. She's 45%, he's 41%.
That's overall.
In an overall poll.
And you see, I find that quite interesting. And I know that, you know, previously the card he could play was that, you know, yes, him and Joe were two older guys, but he looks about 30 years younger than Joe Biden, even though they're pretty similar age.
Yeah.
He's clearly got more energy. He's clearly got more vigour.
Yeah.
He clearly has more to say.
Yeah.
And then somebody comes along who's female, 20-odd years younger than him. She's black, so she can clearly claim that the diversity elements are going to play in her favour, whereas Trump is criticised wrongly for being, you know, another white bloke in the White House.
Yeah.
So that bit, I can see why, you know, he's lost out to what he had. But what he has, it seems to me, when he comes to the podium or the stage and starts talking, you sense this is a bloke with a load of ideas. He's big ideas. I don't get that from her, other than her baby formula.
Well, I
She
think
wants to give the baby some formula.
Well,
yeah, of course, that's great.
You have a point, but also, you know, some of these policies that she wants to implement, why were they not implemented in the last 3.5 years?
Yes.
Look, she says she's a former prosecutor, so she has the expertise, the experience to be able to actually prosecute migrants that do the wrong thing. She says, yeah, it's all, you know, she blames Donald Trump for blocking a bill that would put more Border Patrol agents on the border, that he blocked that, he sabotaged that, she was the one that wanted that. She also says she spent how many years prosecuting illegal immigrants that smuggled people, smuggled drugs, smuggled guns into the United States. She's the one with the experience there. She's the one making those calls. So, I don't know, what I'm finding with both of these two is that they both could actually have great legs to stand on in terms of their campaign promises. But what's the point in going at each other?
Yeah. You also had a chat with one of the big political commentators of our times in this respect. Tell us more. Joe
Concha. I spoke to him yesterday. Now, as you and I pointed out at the start of the interview, this is Kamala Harris's first big interview since she announced that she was taking over Joe Biden. So, you know, we were wondering how she would go, sitting for a, yes, pre-recorded interview with her sidekick. But Joe Concha, he wasn't too confident in her abilities.
Let's have a listen.
When she speaks outside of a teleprompter, when she speaks outside of pre-written remarks, we have seen what has happened in the past when she was a presidential candidate in 2019, when she's been vice president. Basically, she becomes a human Chernobyl. She is the Ron Burgundy of presidential candidates. Whatever you put in teleprompter, Kamala will read.
A human Chernobyl and the Ron Burgundy of presidential candidates. That's quite damning stuff, really, isn't it?
I know. And I'm going to disagree with, I thought that I think she did a pretty okay job, considering
but okay is not good enough, is it, really? But then Trump...
What are we used to, Ian? What are we used to with these?
I know, it is just, yeah, it is a little bit of okay. I can... Look, neither of them are great candidates.
No,
I think most people
I guess
would
when
agree
they
with that.
finally decide to debate, we can make our decision there.
But she can't get all evangelical about immigration when 8 million people across the border under her tenureship as vice president alongside Joe Biden. She really should just keep her gob shut on that and go, I'm sorry, I'm really the last person you need to ask, even though that was specifically my task.
I mean, the first thing you should have done is visit it more than once.
That would have helped.
That
if you'd
would
actually
have helped.
gone to the location
But
of
the
where
numbers
your
are
brief
insane.
said.
If you're a reporter standing down at one of the entry passageways from El Paso or Del Rio, one of these spots bordering Mexico and the southern border, you would see hundreds or thousands of migrants crossing every single day.
Yeah.
Some of them on camera saying, I'm crossing because Joe Biden's in charge.
Listen, on that profound point,
Yes.
Maddie, what are you up to next? What's the next big task?
What am I doing? I'm currently learning all about Oasis.
What do you mean learning about them?
Well,
They were quite big in Australia as well.
No, I know, but you know, you've got to learn as a journalist. You're not across absolutely everything like
True.
you might think you are.
And you were probably like 4 or something when they were...
Exactly. I was very young. Doing that, lots of US politics, it's all happening.
It's all happening. Oasis and US politics.
Niche.
Niche stuff. Thank you, Maddie.
Thank you.
Maddie Hale with us here on Talk.